Hello everyone, welcome to our channel EduPsychology. In our previous lecture, we had covered peripheral nervous system and today we're going to start with the central nervous system. So let us begin. The central nervous system, which is CNS, is a center of all neural activity. It integrates all incoming sensory informations, performs all kind of cognitive activities and issues motor commands to muscle and glands. The central nervous system comprises of brain and spinal cord. Now we will talk about the functions of major parts of the brain. For what behavior is each part responsible for? It is believed that the human brain has evolved over millions of years from the brains of lower animals, and this evolutionary process still continues. We can examine the level of structures in the brain from its earliest to the most recent form in the process of evolution. The limbic system, brainstem, and cerebellum are the oldest structures, while cerebral cortex is the latest development in the course of evolution. An adult brain weighs about 1.36 kg and contains around 100 billion neurons. However, the most amazing thing about the brain is not its number of neurons, but its ability to guide human behavior and thought. The brain is organized into structures and regions that perform specific function. Brain scanning reveals that while some mental functions are distributed among different areas of the brain, many activities are localized also. For example, like the occipital lobe of the brain is specialized area for vision. Now let us talk about the structure of the brain. Now for the convenience of the study, the brain has been divided into three major parts: hindbrain, midbrain and forebrain. Hindbrain consists of medulla oblongata, pons, cerebellum. Medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brain that exists in continuum of the spinal cord. It contains neural centers which regulate basic life supporting activities like breathing, heart rate and blood pressure. This is why medulla is known as the vital center of the brain. It has some centers of autonomic activities also. Pons. Pons is connected with medulla on one side and with the midbrain on the other. A nucleus, that is the neural center of the pons, receive auditory signal relayed by our ears. It is believed that pons is involved in sleep mechanism, particularly the sleep characterized by dreaming. It contains nuclei affecting respiratory movement and facial expressions also. Cerebellum. This highly evolved duller part of the hindbrain can be easily recognized by its wrinkled surface. It maintains and controls posture and equilibrium of the body. Its main function is coordination of muscular movements. Though the motor commands originate in the forebrain, the cerebellum receives and coordinates them to relate to the muscles. It also stores the memory of movement patterns so that we don't have to concentrate on how to walk, how to dance, or how to ride a bicycle. Let us talk about the midbrain. Now, the midbrain is relatively small in size. It connects the hindbrain with the forebrain. A few neural centers related to some special reflexes and visual and auditory sensation are found here. An important part of midbrain known as reticular activating system, that is RAS, it is responsible for our arousal. It makes us alert and active by regulating sensory input. It also helps us in selecting information from the environment. Forebrain is considered to be the most important part of the brain because it performs all cognitive, emotional and motor activities. There are four major parts of the forebrain: hypothalamus, thalamus, limbic system and cerebrum. Hypothalamus is one of the smallest structures in the brain but plays a vital role in our behavior. It regulates physiological process involved in emotional and motivational behavior such as eating, drinking, sleeping, temperature regulation, and sexual arousal. It also regulates and controls the internal environment of the body like heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, and regulates the secretion of hormones from the various endocrine glands. Thalamus, it consists of an egg-shaped cluster of neurons situated in the upper side of the hypothalamus. It is like a relay station that receives all incoming sensory signals from sense organs and sends them to appropriate part of the cortex for processing. It also receives all outgoing motor signals coming from the cortex and send them to appropriate parts of the body. The limbic system is comprised of a group of structures that form parts of the old mammalian brain. It helps in maintaining internal hemostasis by regulating body temperature, blood pressure, blood sugar level. It has close link with the hypothalamus. Besides thalamus, the limbic systems comprise the hippocampus and amygdala. The hippocampus plays an important role in long-term memory. The amygdala plays an important role in emotional behavior. The cerebrum. The cerebrum is also known as cerebral cortex. This part regulates all higher level of cognitive functions such as attention, perception, learning, memory, language, behavior, reasoning and problem solving. The cerebrum makes 2/3 of total mass of human brain. Its thickness varies from 1.5 mm to 4 mm, which covers the entire surface of the brain and contains neurons, neural nets, and bundles of axons. All these make it possible for us to perform organized actions and create images, symbols, associations, and memories. The cerebrum is divided into two symmetrical halves called the cerebral hemisphere. Although the two hemispheres appear identical, functionally one hemisphere usually dominates the other. For example, the left hemisphere usually controls language and behavior. The right hemisphere is usually specialized to deal with images, spatial relationship, and pattern recognition. Now, these two hemispheres are connected by a white bundle of myelinated fibers called corpus callosum that carries message back and forth between the hemisphere. Cerebral cortex has also been divided into four lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is mainly concerned with the cognitive functions such as attention, thinking, memory, learning, and reasoning, but it also exerts inhibitory effects on autonomic and emotional responses. The parietal lobe is mainly concerned with the cutaneous sensations and their coordination with visual and auditory sensation. The temporal lobe is primarily concerned with the processing of auditory information. Memory for symbolic sounds and words resides here. Understanding of a speech and written language depends on this lobe. The occipital lobe is mainly concerned with the visual information. It is believed that interpretation of visual impulses, memory from visual stimuli, and color visual orientation is performed by this lobe. Psychologists and physiologists have tried to identify specific functions associated with specific brain structure. Now they have found that no activity of the brain is performed only by a single part of the cortex. Normally, other parts are involved. But it is also correct that there is some localization of function. That is, for a particular part of the cortex play a more important role than the other part. For example, if you're driving a car, you see the road and other vehicle by the function of your occipital lobe. You hear the horn by the function of your temporal lobe. You do many motor activities controlled by parietal lobe and make decision by the help of frontal lobe. Now, the whole brain act as well coordinated unit in which different parts contribute their function separately. Now, let us talk about the spinal cord. Now, spinal cord is a long rope-like collection of nerve fiber which runs along the full length inside the spine. Its one end is connected with the medulla of the brain and another is free at the tail end. Its structures all along its length is similar. The butterfly-shaped mass of gray matter present in the center of the spinal cord consists association neurons and other cells. Surrounding the gray matter is the white matter of the spinal cord, which is composed of the ascending and descending neural tracts. Now, these neural tracts are basically the collection of nerve fibers. They connect the brain with the rest of the body. The spinal cord plays the role of a huge cable which exchange innumerable messages with the central nervous system. Now, there are two main functions of the spinal cord. First, it carries sensory impulse coming from the lower part of the body to the brain and motor impulses originating from the brain to the all over the body. Secondly, it performs some simple reflexes that do not involve the brain. Simple reflexes involve a sensory nerve, a motor nerve, and the association neurons of the gray matter of the spinal cord. Reflex action is an involuntary action that occurs very quickly after its specific kind of stimulation. The reflex action takes place automatically without conscious decision of the brain. Reflex actions are inherited in our nervous system through evolutionary process. For example, the eye blinking reflex. Whenever an object suddenly comes near our eyes, our eyelid blinks. Reflexes serves to protect the organism from potential threats and preserve life. Though several reflex actions are performed by our nervous system, the familiar reflexes are the knee jerk, pupil constriction, pulling away from very hot and cold objects, breathing, and stretching. Most reflex actions are carried out by the spinal cord and do not involve the brain. Now, that is for this lecture. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel. We wish you a happy learning and let us explore this amazing field of psychology. Hope you like the channel and we will be waiting for your comments below. Thank you.